Hallelujah!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Today we wrap up the transfer window that we've just had here at SuperSport United, and we have our fourth Champions League group stage game. It is against Stade Malien, and if results go our way in the other game in this group, then we could already qualify top for the knockout stages, which would be nice. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you are looking forward to that, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video. And if you're new around here, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Not wearing a football shirt today. I've got the New Zealand cricket shirt on. It is Thursday when I'm recording this, and we've just won the big golden pimp stick, the World Test Championship final. So good job to the Black Caps for that. And also a couple of local lads earlier in the week making the All Blacks as well from a rugby club who I do weekend filming from, Nelson Rugby Football Club, David Harville and Ethan Blackadder. So a good shout out to those guys as well. But we have a transfer window to wrap up here since yesterday's episode, where we did take on Cape Town City and defeated them in our third CAF Champions League group stage game. If you missed that episode, I will leave a link in the top right corner. We did cover off some transfers we might be looking at in this window in that episode as well. And indeed, the goalkeeper that we brought in was included in that video. But you can see there's been a lot of free transfers here, and that is because those players who we had on trials from the AFCON nations, we did sign up quite a few of them. I won't show you guys them because they're all players who will be living in the under-19s and reserve teams anyway, so there's not much point showing you guys those players at the moment, but that's what this big chunk of free transfers was from. But we have made a couple of other signings as well. I said we wanted a goalkeeper, and we bought the local lad from Bloemfontein Celtic, Kosti Christodoulou. He, as I said, aerial reach might be an issue, but he looks a decent option. He's a bit of an improvement on Gunga, not as much of an improvement as I thought he might be, but he comes into the team, as I said in yesterday's episode. It weakens Bloemfontein Celtic, which is a plus because they look like our biggest rivals here in South Africa, and he is also born in the area as well, so it's a good player to get on board. 5 South African caps. We bought him for €900,000, not valued at that, so we possibly overpaid, but I thought it was an area that we did need to strengthen, although we'll get to the Champions League registration shortly. As you would have seen by the intro, we've finally been able to sort that out somewhat, but this guy is not able to be registered in the Champions League because he did play for Bloemfontein Celtic. We'll get to that when we get to that part of the video. But also we signed 2 other players. Bula Potsane from Steinberg United. This is a player for the reserves. He looks okay. He's got a bit of potential. He'll be floating around the reserves. We didn't pay too much for him. Valued at 14.5 thousand, signed for 6.5, potentially going up to 11.25. So a decent deal there from our reserve manager. And we also got another player off Bloemfontein Celtic. I felt like we potentially needed another centre back just for squad depth at the club. And Phil April was a player who, at least earlier in the season, was a part of the media Dream 11. So we've brought him into the club. We did pay $1 million for this guy, but he is valued quite a bit higher than Christodoulou. So it felt like this guy was worth the investment. You can see he's got a fair bit of potential. He's actually not quite good enough to be making our first team at the moment, but he's certainly hot on the heels of the likes of Dubé and Mahua. So he is going to be keeping those guys honest for the rest of the season. 1.94 metres tall. We'll switch him to a centre back because that's where he's going to be playing. As I said, 1.94 metres tall. He's got 18 jumping reach, 12 heading. Looks like a decent option for us. Passing's the only real area, as well as first touch, that potentially lets him down for a ball playing defender. But he should do a good job for us in the rotation team. So those are the only ins that we have had of note here in this transfer window. Not a very busy one, just those players that we've brought in from Bloemfontein Celtic, mainly just to somewhat mess with them, but also good players who I did want to bring to the club. Meanwhile, we've only sold one player. 3 players have gone out on loan. The only sale that we did make was Santeli Shabalala. He has gone to the Mamelodi Sundowns. You can see 18-year-old. He wanted to leave. He didn't have a great deal of potential. You'll see only 3-star potential at the very most. So I felt like it was a good option to let him go. You look at his overall stats. Yes, he could have improved as he's only 18, but he does have some decent physicals. But I just felt that we could afford to let him go for an offer of €71,000. So that is our transfer window. As I said, not very busy, but I feel like we have strengthened the squad in terms of overall depth, and we still do have a little bit left in the transfer budget, but we've spent most of it now, which is good. And here is the page for the CAF Champions League registration. So we have been able to add a few more players in than we had earlier this season. The likes of Olivares have now been able to be registered because the first transfer window closed after the registration window for this competition. So the likes of Olivares weren't able to be registered. We keep going down. I'm trying to find players who weren't registered. I think he's the main one who's been added. Oh, Mamade was the other one who of note, because now we have a backup left winger, which is nice. But you'll still notice the likes of Lapo, Pulza, we keep going up, April and Christodoulou are players who are ineligible to be registered, and I'm pretty sure that's because all those players were brought in from either Cape Town City or Bloemfontein Celtic, so they have already played in the competition, and that is why they can't be registered. So I think we've sorted that out. We don't quite have a squad that I would say entirely is perfect for this competition, but it's pretty good, and in the end we have weakened Bloemfontein Celtic quite a bit, I would suggest, going into the second half of the season. But pretty good news, we've been able to register a few more bodies in the Champions League squad. That main one, Mamade, as we were quite light on left wingers if Welcome Boyson did pick up an injury. But that sort of wraps up the admin stuff that's been going on in the month of January when we had no games on camera. We have had one competitive game since yesterday's episode. We'll show you guys the highlights of that before we crack into this game against Stade Malien. It was in the Premier Division against Chippa United, looking to maintain our unbeaten record in that competition, and we did with a 4-1 win away from home here. We kicked things off in the 12th minute, playing in our red uniform yet again in this game. Lapo outside the box up to Apollo, slot scored Dino through nicely into the bottom left corner, and we went 1-0 up early. A couple of minutes later, in the 20th minute, Kalaki, the young winger, makes his way forward, slot scored Dino through yet again in a really nice finish after getting some help from the woodwork on the first attempt. So I did stuff that up a little bit, didn't I? But yeah, he got the rebound in, and we were 2-0 up after 20. Then in the 29th minute, Mateza down the right puts the ball in. The header is missed by a Chippa United player, and Mish Kalaki this time is the finisher, making it 3-0. Right before half-time, Chippa United did get a goal back. Ferreira over to Peters. He finds Shobeni, and he thumps one past Christodoulou in goal for us. And then right before it, a lovely free kick from Lapo, an absolute pole driver to make it 4-1 to us. A couple of really good free kicks in our last few games. Lapo this time, in yesterday's episode, it was Walters, I believe, who got a similar one. They're not bothering to curve them around the wall these days, just going for top bins. So a pretty convincing win for us. Not too many shots from the rotation team, albeit, so understandable that we didn't dominate the game quite as much as we sometimes can, but a really good performance. We were very clinical with our chances, with both teams kind of doubling their XG, you could say. So a pretty fair scoreline and a good result for us. What that means for the Premier Division, not too much change since yesterday. We are 5 points clear of Bloemfontein Celtic at the top of the table, but we do still have that game in hand, which will be caught up at some stage. So it's looking good in the league for us, and hopefully we can pick up a win today to potentially secure top spot in the group against Stade Malien. And if Tetuan are tipped up by Cape Town City, that would mean we qualify top. In terms of our team for this game, there's no point showing you guys the Stade Malien team, as I don't have much of an idea about the players who are lining up for them, being from a foreign nation. But that's our team. The only change that we've made from the Champions League team that we have been rolling out of late is that Olivares comes in for Mateza at right back. He's been a little bit better, and we only really didn't use him in that first half of the season because of that registration issue. And also Mamade on the left wing is in, and that is because Welcome Boyson is carrying a little bit of an injury after getting some fractured ribs on international duty. So luckily we were able to register Mamade because he comes straight into the first team, does the young winger, but otherwise it's the same team that you guys will be used to from the last few episodes, and we'll come back shortly, hopefully, if results go our way, to secure top spot in this group as we take on Stade Malien at home. And the boys come out. We are the home teams in our blue uniform as per usual, and it is Stade Malien in the light, in the white with the blue trim, the sort of sky blue trim, and we are kicking off playing right to left, and as I said, looking for a good result here. And if Cape Town City can do the job, and I imagine that they would against Tetuan, as long as they bring the form like they did in the game they played against us yesterday, we should be qualifying top at the end of this game. We have an attack early, but it's cleared away from Stade Malien. 0-0 early doors. 7 minutes gone here, and we have an early throw in. You will notice some yellow cards already picked up from our players, so that's a slight concern, but King, the main one at left back, and also Momade on that left wing. We put a ball into the mix. It is headed away from Stade Malien, and they look to build. Kante on the left-hand side. Good pressure there from Mahua. We nearly get the ball back there. A bit of a loose pass, but they do keep possession to Stade Malien, a team that we beat fairly comfortably in the first half of this Champions League group stage. Hopefully, we can do a similar job here as Mamade gets the ball after a loose pass from Stade Malien. We try and put it in the mixture. It falls to King. He makes his way down that left-hand side. Kubeka inside the box. Back for King. Put a ball in Mamade with a header, and he gets a goal straight into the first team for this Champions League. His first game in the Champions League this season, and after only 8 minutes, we go 1-0 up. That's a really good start from the young winger, and you can see that Cape Town City have also gone up at a similar stage. So at the moment, if results stay the same, we will be qualifying top. It's a really nice hit of the two players on yellow cards connecting, and we go 1-0 up inside 10 minutes. 11th minute here, and we have a throw-in. King tries to find a teammate. It's cleared away, but we will get possession back, and hopefully we can get that cushion goal nice and early here today. Walters, who got that wonderful free kick yesterday, was on the ball there briefly, but we're just knocking it about quite nicely at the moment. Long ball for Mamade, puts in the back of the net. He's got an early double. I thought he might be offside there, but he must have been on. The referee has not blown that up. We do a VAR in this league, but they haven't called on it for that. Looked a suspicion of offside. You can see King playing that back to Mokoena, a long ball, and maybe one of those centre backs is playing him on. It's a good finish into that bottom right corner, and we go 2-0 up after 12 minutes. 21 minutes gone, and we do have a free kick here, which Gunga takes short. We look to build from the back, but we have started this game off very nicely today with 2 early goals to Zacharias Momade, and now it's Kenny Mahua on the other flank. The winger on the other side playing better today, which is unusual. Kubeka with a long shot, and we've gone 3-0 up after 21 minutes. That came somewhat from nowhere. That is from a long way out. Wonderful strike there from Kubeka. He's been doing them from free kicks most of the season, but that is a really nice finish. He did get a few headers earlier in the year as well, it has to be said. The ball found its way to Kubeka. He's outside the box by a long way and somehow gets that past the goalkeeper. A wonderful strike, and we're 3-0 up after 22 minutes. 33 minutes gone here. We have another throw-in in a dangerous position right near the byline. We do keep possession this time. Mamade, the ball is cleared from his feet, but it will go out for a corner for us. So a chance to try and find some big heads. Dubé nearly gets his head on that one. Head away from Stade Malien then. Now Mokoena on the ball over to Malangu. Walters just holding the ball nicely outside the box. We're in a really good position here as Cape Town City are winning the other game 1-0 still. So at the moment, we are qualifying top with 2 games to play. The ball cleared there from Stade Malien, but this highlight does continue, so we might have another attack on the go. Malangu plays Mahua through, hits the post. That was a really good chance for Kenny, but it remains 3-0 after 35 minutes. And that is half-time here in this 4th Champions League group stage game. We're in a really good position. 3-0 up. We've had plenty of shots here. 15 with 6 on target, and Stade Malien only having the 1. Outperforming our XG by double, so it's going very nicely for us at the moment. Just need Cape Town City to keep doing what they are doing, and we will be qualifying top of this group. So I think we'll just crack straight into the second half, and hopefully we can finish this Champions League group stage off on camera anyway after today's episode. Early free kick for us here in the second half. It is Mahua standing over it. Kenny there puts it into the mixer. We do find someone. Walters then puts it in the back of the net. 4-0, although the graphic hasn't come up, so I suspect someone is offside there. It didn't look overly obvious from what we saw there by the highlight, but they have pulled the goal back for offside. We'll see if they bring up a highlight. It was Walters offside according to this. We'll just see. Must be from this header, and there really isn't much in that. It's an interesting decision, but I suppose at 3-0 up, we can afford to be having those go against us as we now have another free kick after 48 minutes. We take this one shorter and look to go 4-0 up. And yeah, as I said, hopefully we can qualify top of the group after this game. Walters on the edge of the box out to Mokoena. And we look to build Kubeka in for Mamade. Kubeka with a long shot. Oh, that's his second of the game. Him and Mamade now have doubles, and that's another wonderful strike there from Kubeka. He does the cartwheel that you often see the goalkeepers do when you win trophies. That is now 2 wonderful, powerful strikes into the corner from him today. Just knocking the ball about quite nicely outside the box. Kubeka back to Mamade. Kubeka just gets a bit of space as the Stade Malien defence sort of flock towards Mamade, and a good finish into the top left corner 4-0 early in the second half. Okay, 63 minutes gone here, 4-0 up, things going very well, but Kenny Mahua on a yellow heart, so we will make our first change of the day right now, and we will bring the young Nunez on for him. Actually needs a bit of match sharpness, so a good opportunity for him to come on, and we'll carry on 4-0 up after 63 minutes. 66 minutes gone, we have a throw in. We do give the ball away, although we are going to get that back after a pretty poor clearance from Stade Malien, and Dubé holds the ball up for us, and we now look to go forward with Moffiking on the ball over to Walters, and we're looking to make this 5-0. Moffiking just outside the box. Back flick there. Kubeka is another long shot, hits the post going for his hat trick. It's still 4-0 though, as we have a throw in shortly off the back of that woodwork shot from Kubeka. Unlucky, that would have been some hat trick of goals from outside the box, but now it is Dubé on the ball for us, and we look to make it 5. Yet again up to Nunez, fresh off the bench. Walters out to Olivares in a lot of space just outside the box. Puts the ball in the mixer. That was impossible for Sakil Malangu to miss. And now we are 5-0 up after 68 minutes. Absolutely cruising against this Malian team, it is fair to say. A lot of space Olivares was given here. And somehow Malangu was just not marked at all. And for some distance there too, flicks it beyond the goalkeeper, who didn't have much of a chance after the Olivares cross. And we're 5-0 up with 20 to go. 73 minutes gone here. We've got 3 players on yellow hearts, and with this game well and truly wrapped up, we can make those changes. I think we'll take Mamade off. He is on a hat trick, so it's a bit controversial, but in terms of left wingers, we've got 2 very good ones, and the ones behind that, look, Kalaki's decent, but I would like to just give him a little bit of a rest just in case Boyson is not quite fit enough for that next game, so we will bring Percy Gordino on for him on the wrong wing, but we'll give that a crack, and we'll also take off Moffiking here, a good left back he has been for us most of the season, playing well, but we'll give Rashad Malloy a chance here as well. So we'll make those changes. Those are our 3 substitutions now done. Still have Kubeka looking for a hat trick, but it's 5-0 with just over quarter of an hour to go. 91st minute, we have a throw in, but this game has really just petered out since we made those last 2 substitutions. Although Stade Malien making their way forward here. That's a nice ball over for Keita. He just holds the ball up there, not sure if he should have, and then sure enough, Olivares with a turnover. We're into the last couple of seconds of this game, 5-0, and in the other game, 3-1 to Cape Town City. So if things stay the way they are, hopefully they do, we will be qualifying top of the group after this game. You can see the score down the bottom left, 3-0. I haven't updated that Tetuan goal yet, but it feels like we're going to be going through top of this group after a very nice 5-0 win from us. You look at the overall ratings from our players, and pretty much everyone who started the game had a green rating. In fact, they did, just the subs getting some late minutes. But otherwise, that was a very comprehensive performance from us. A double to Kubeka and Mamade, and a late goal to Malangu as well. And a very nice performance from us. We'll come back shortly and see if we are going through top of this group in the Champions League. So we'll run through these Champions League results before we show you guys what has happened in our group. Bloemfontein Celtic with another win over Sparks, so they should be through the next round. They're not entirely safe there, but it looks like they've recovered and should be finishing top of their group. We keep going down these other groups. ES Satif are already through, the Algerian team, as we suspected after yesterday's episode, so they might be the best of the rest in the next round. And we go down, you can see Cape Town City 3-1, so that means we have qualified top, so we can sort of skip over the rest of this Champions League group stage. It will give us a chance to put the rotation team out as well. In terms of the rest of our group, though, it really depends on who wins the rest of their games, I suppose. Cape Town City in the best position, but they do still have to play us, so we could nearly upset them depending on what happens in their next game. They have got a game against Stade Malien, and depending on what happens in our game against Tetuan, they could actually already secure second place after next match week. So we'll see what happens, but at the moment it looks like all the favoured teams, all the South African teams, are going to be going through to the next stage, but we will be in a nice position having secured top spot in our group, and hopefully we can avoid the likes of Bloemfontein Celtic in the next round because of that. But that will do for today's episode. In terms of when we'll come back, as I said, don't really need to focus on the Champions League until we come back for the quarterfinals of that tournament now, perhaps, so we can start focusing on the league a bit more. We can play a decent chunk of stuff off camera. We've got the Nedbank Cup starting soon, which is essentially South Africa's version of the FA Cup. Unfortunately, Again, we're drawn against the first division team, but it is a game that we should be winning. But a little while after that, we have got a rematch against Bloemfontein Celtic, our first game against them in the Premier Division, the one that got postponed from late December here to early March, and hopefully we can get some revenge on those guys for that MTN 8 final, and especially now that we have a few of their ex-players. So I think that's what we're going to come back for, and then we should also have a pretty good idea as well as to who'll be going out of the Champions League groups, depending on what happens on the 22nd of February. But a bit of a grudge match tomorrow, hopefully some revenge on Bloemfontein Celtic. But if you did enjoy today's episode, where we did secure top spot in this Champions League group, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new around here, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. And until I see you tomorrow for the grudge match, Bloemfontein Celtic, can we get revenge on them? Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.